Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another video, and over the next couple of weeks I will be working on a series which I will be calling the Best of 2017. Now that series is going to be featuring 10 of the games that I consider to be the best 10 games that came out in 2017. Now naturally this list is going to be heavily influenced by my own personal biases towards Dark Souls, Monster Hunter, those kinds of games, and most of you guys that have been watching the channel for a while will know my personal biases, so that is going to factor heavily into the list, because anyone can tell you that they're unbiased. You can call them a liar straight up, because nobody is 100% unbiased. That is completely impossible. Everyone has their own personal biases. At least that is something that I personally really believe in. So the way that I think these lists really make sense is if you know the person and then you look at their choices and then you understand where that influence comes from. Now, in previous years, what I did is I would have a long video where I would go over all of the selections and I would go into great detail as to why each game was selected. But what I found is that most people don't want to watch a long video where I talk about 10 different games. So I figured it would be better if I would just divide this into 10 videos where I talk about each of the games individually, and then we have one final video where I will be talking about the order that those games are in the list itself, because they're not going to come out in any specific order. It's going to be random, or maybe it will be by release date. I don't know yet. But then at the end we will have that video where I will talk about why a certain game made it above the other game, and so on and so forth. A little bit more of a minute discussion. And in that video, obviously, I will announce which one is my game of the year. Now, unfortunately, there will be a couple of exceptions. There are a couple of games that I will not be able to take into account for a multitude of reasons, and that is the purpose of this particular video here, where I will be telling you guys the games that will not be featured onto the list and why. So first, I'm going to say off just 3 games that will not enter the list, and those games are Yakuza 0, Assassin's Creed Origins, and Pyre. And you guys might be wondering, why are those games not eligible for your list of best of 2017? Well, it's very simple. I tried like hell to get review codes, and I wasn't able to get review codes for any of these games. And then, after trying like hell to get review codes, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna wait until Black Friday, see if I can get a sweet deal on any of these games. I wasn't able to get deals that I would consider to be, you know, a good deal, so I ended up not really playing any of them. And as such, these are titles that could be on the list. They're not going to be on the list. So if when you're looking at my list, you're like, why isn't Assassin's Creed Origins on your list? Because it kind of looks like the type of game that you would like. It's because I didn't get to play it. Moving on, a couple of more games that are not going to be featured on the list. One of those is Divinity Original Sin 2. And the reasoning for that one is I actually didn't have the time to play it. It's like, it's too late in the year. I'm probably not going to be able to play through it. And I think that Divinity Original Sin 2 would probably get a place on the list. And I'm really, really sorry that I didn't get to play it, because it looks like such a fun game. But it's just, it was a matter of time. There's, like I said, 2017 has been one of the best years in gaming for decades now. Like, it is literally one of the best years in gaming that I've experienced. There's so many good games, and a couple of things just got left behind, and I feel really, really bad. I will eventually play Divinity Original Sin 2 for sure, but unfortunately I'm not going to be able to feature it on my list. And again, this is a game that I believe would probably have a place on that list. Anyway, the other game that is not going to be featured on the list is For Honor. Now, I believe that For Honor has actually done quite a bit of innovation in terms of bringing the fighting genre to the third-person action game. It's kind of a mixed match of genres, and I actually had a lot of fun when I played it at release. But the reason I'm not going to be putting it on my list is because I feel that Ubisoft's support after the release was actually kind of lackluster. I mean, for starters, the matchmaking I always felt was terrible in that game, because like, you couldn't really, at least I personally didn't really seem to be matched against people that would be on par with my skill level. So it would either be a case of me just completely smashing the enemy team with them barely even touching me, or the opposite, where the enemy team just completely smashed me and I barely even touched them. And to top things off, they had their tournament where there was a player that basically cheated his way through a tournament because of a bug that they didn't fix. I mean, come on, this game deserved so much better than that. And there's also obviously the controversy of the games as a service that they've applied onto that game, making it a massive grind to actually unlock all the things. Then they changed it, and basically a whole bunch of controversy around that. I will just say I loved For Honor when I played it around release, because there was no meta and everybody was just playing and having fun. That was fantastic. I had a blast when I was playing it around release. Shortly afterwards, it became a complete nightmare, and I find it kind of hard to recommend that game to players nowadays, because basically they're going to get in there and they're going to get completely smashed because only the really hardcore players were left over, and there's simply nobody else for the matchmaking to use at this point. So as much as I would love to recommend For Honor at this point, I have to be honest that I feel that game is not at its best right now. So that's why it's not going to make the list. And then we have 3 more titles. I'm going to be talking about these individually as well, I guess. The first one is Destiny 2. Destiny 2 will not be featuring game of the in my game best games of 2017. For starters, for the recent news that I just reported on, because of the fact that they did some really shady shit with Experience. Like, that was really shady. Like, that really upset me. Like I said, and that didn't even affect me, and it upset me. But on top of that, there's also another thing, which is I feel that the progression in Destiny 2 is extremely random. It is extremely random, like to the point where I stopped playing the game because I felt like I wasn't able to progress any further unless I was just really lucky. Like, there was nothing to do with skill at all in order for me to progress further. Because, like, you got the mods, and the mods that you get are always random. And I needed like 2 specific mods, and I couldn't get those mods to drop after, like, I think it was 2 months of grinding with a specific purpose of trying to get 2 of those mods. And there was even like 3 different mods that I could have gotten for those 2 slots. And it was just like, after 2 months of me playing, doing the weeklies, doing everything that I could, I just got really upset with the fact that the progression was not rewarded by skill. It was rewarded by chance, complete chance. Because even though the game is not entirely dependent on the loot boxes that you have to pay for, everything in that game is a loot box of some kind. And therefore your progression ends up being seriously randomized. Like, sure, your numbers will go higher up until you get to 305. Once you get to 305, your numbers just kind of stop going higher, and instead you're just trying to optimize your character in different ways, and that requires you getting specific gear. And getting specific gear in Destiny, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say. It was just, everything just felt extremely random in terms of progression, and that ended up burning me out. And that's why Destiny 2 is not gonna be featuring in the list. Middle-earth Shadow of War. This one's an easy one. It's not gonna be featuring the list because there are a bunch of greedy fucks that use loot boxes on a single-player game. And I ended up not even playing it because of that. Like, I would have actually purchased Middle-earth Shadow of War because I probably wouldn't have been able to get a code. But I would have actually purchased it because I was engaged. Like, you guys know that I've played through Shadow of Mordor, and I was super excited about playing through Shadow of War. And I ended up not doing it because I felt that the business practices that they were doing in that game were disgusting. Completely and utterly disgusting. So obviously that's not going to be featuring the list. And another game that I'm surprised, but this game could have actually been in the list. I'm not even kidding you. This particular game, and a lot of people are going to be like, what? This particular game could have actually been in the list. And that game is Star Wars Battlefront 2, because I feel that Star Wars Battlefront 2, in terms of pretty much everything, improved a lot on the original Battlefront. Like, I actually liked the gameplay. I didn't like Battlefront that much. I mean, I liked it at the start, I guess, when I played it for the first time, but after a while, I felt it grew old too fast. Whereas Battlefront 2's mechanics felt more solid in terms of gameplay itself, the way that you earn the points, and as you earn the points, you get to be the heroes. You get, like, all of those things work better. And the campaign, I've done a video talking at length about the campaign. Despite the fact that it was disappointing on several occasions, it also felt really cool in other moments. So it's like, that game could have made, maybe at number 10, it could have made it onto the list. But naturally, it's not going to, because the progression system in that game is a goddamn joke. Like, I really liked Battlefront. I'm not even kidding. I liked it. But the progression system is fucked. It's just completely fucked. Therefore, that game will not be featured in my best of 2017 list. Anyway, like I said, expect over the next couple of days to see a couple of bests of 2017 videos alongside your regular content in the channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.